So Forest are interested in Reijnders from Man City. This is the food chain in action. Welcome to your Forest transfer news. Hi guys, hope you're doing well and welcome to your Forest news. Coming up, we're going to go through all this Reijnders stuff, which I can't lie, has excited me. This is a player. Make sure you've liked, make sure you subscribe, make sure you're following us on the socials. They're all in the description, or you can scan this for Facebook. And let's get into this, man, because like I was out doing my thing on the golf course. By the way, I've still got it. Anyway, another story for another time. And I'm there getting message after message saying Forest are food chaining Man City and getting Reijnders. And I was like, what? Anyway, how's this all happened? How's it broken? Actually, it started with a Daily Mail, if I'm not mistaken, with a journalist called Simon Jones. Not the Simon Jones we have on the channel from time to time. Big up to Si. Hope you're well, bro. But that broke down. I was like, Daily Mail, they've done all that BS about Gibbs White and everything else in the last 24 hours. Whatever, man. Let me go focus on my next birdie. And then Romano goes and drops it, and he says Forest is showing interest in Reijnders as new midfielder from Manchester City. He's on the shortlist after also Newcastle had shown interest in June. I was like, okay, shall I start to get excited? Because Reijnders is a quality player. Serie A, he was balling out. He scored against us, didn't he, last season? I seem to remember there was something controversial about his goal. I can't remember what it was, but I definitely remember he scored against us. And if you can remember why I was annoyed by it, let me know in the comments. But anyway, and then I'm like, this guy would fit in Glasner's system. He can play many different positions in midfielder. I don't think he's a 6. I don't think he's fully a 10, but can kind of do a 10. I kind of feel like he's a box-to-box 8, but a goal-scoring box-to-box 8 with some creativity, with long shots as well. He just pops up in the box at the right time, kind of ghosts in and everything. I like him. I like him a lot, in the words of Lloyd Christmas. But there are some things that we got to address in this, okay? One, his age, 28. I say to all you ages out there, and I hear it sometimes, 28 is still young in footballing terms. He could play easily to 35, man. Most footballers these days are going on to nearly 40, we're seeing in some instances. Okay, they're not the same as they were when they were 25 to 30, but still, the footballer's kind of career is extended now with dietary stuff, with, exercise stuff, with supplement stuff and all that stuff. So I've said stuff a lot. So don't go on this age thing. The one thing I will grant on the age thing is there will be no resale value for him, because the price that's being quoted right now is 55 million for Reijnders, which I think is cheeky from Man City, because I think they spent, if I remember rightly, it was about 40 to 45 million on him, and they've only had him for 1 year. 1 year, and they're looking to move him on. So can this happen? Well, firstly, I still think the language being used to link him to Forest is very wishy-washy. If you look at what Romano said, he said Forest is showing an interest. If I showed an interest in Megan Fox, it doesn't mean that I'm going to be taking her out to dinner tomorrow night. So an interest, we still need to then register our interest officially. This new registration book that happens. We've seen it with Nico Williams, all these clubs registering their interest. So Forest still need to take that next step. And then we get on to the real stuff where you can negotiate and see if the player's interested in everything like that. However, what I will say is I have seen some credible reports to say that Reijnders would be open to a move away from Man City if he was guaranteed first team football, and he would be open to that move being to Forest. Now, how true this is, I don't know. How clubs can guarantee any player a first team start, they can't. And how a player can demand a first team start instead of saying, I'll come here and I'll be that guy. And you will have to pick me based on performance. That's the way it kind of should be, right? So, but I get it. The talk is, if you read between the lines, what the conversation there is that he wants more first team action. He's not getting that at Man City. He's going to be, they've just signed in, obviously, Elliot Anderson for 115 plus 1. So he's feeling like his chances of being a regular starter are probably diminishing as the summer transfer window goes on. So coming to Forest, does he work in a Glasner system? Yes, he does, in my opinion. He will work in that 8-8 or 6-6 or whatever Glasner's going to call it. CMs, midfielders, so many different names you can use for it. And I don't know who he balances with. This is the thing. I almost feel like a Dominguez would be a good partner for him. Schlager would be very good as well. Sangare, I don't know, because I wouldn't really say Reijnders is a pace merchant, right? And I think you need an engine in that midfield, a Dominguez style engine. But if you're adding Reijnders, that for me is the creativity that I was talking about on Grumpy Old Reds the other night that I think we're missing. I don't think you can go with Schlager and Sangare, or Dominguez and Sangare. You need someone with a little something about them, and I think Reijnders would have this. Do I think this is going to happen is the question. Honestly, I don't know. I don't put anything past Marinakis. That's like number one. If Marinakis suddenly wanted Mbappe tomorrow, wouldn't surprise me. Wouldn't surprise me if he at least started talking to Real Madrid. You know what I'm saying? So I don't put it past him. Do I think, though, that potentially this is something that was spoken about during the Elliot Anderson deal? Maybe. Because we don't really see players being swapped anymore, okay? Because of PSR or squad cost ratio and all this stuff now. You see them, even if it's a swap deal, it's done in different phases. So if you remember when we bought Elliot Anderson, even though he cost us, what was it? They were quoting 35 million. But because we sold Vlachodimos to Newcastle for 22 million, Elliot Anderson ended up being net 13 million. Technically, that's a swap deal, but it's done as two separate transactions. Everyone benefits from it. Now, is this something that potentially was discussed between Marinakis and the Man City lot at the time of the Elliot Anderson deal? Maybe. And put a little space between it so there's no real signs or alarm bells of swap deals or anything like that. Maybe. And this is the way Man City could claw back some of their 115+1 money for Elliot Anderson. So I think conversation, and I'm just speculating on that, conversations could have been happening from back then. But I think he would suit with what Glasner has to offer. I think he would work well at Forest, and he is an absolute baller. Now, a lot of people are going to say, okay, but he's had a crap season at Man City. Okay, I hear that, but he didn't get to play consistently at Man City, and he was playing, I don't think, really in a team that was balanced, a team that had like a Rodri who was injured and out a lot, a team where the midfield, I feel, was chopped and changed week in, week out with Man City. A team where Guardiola was kind of, burnt out a bit and what have you. And where he was overlooked in instances. I mean, he decided, obviously, to play him against us when he scored. So I don't think you judge what he did too much last season. I still think the performances in the games he played, he actually looked good in certain games and certain aspects of it. But if you go back to his time at AC, he was an absolute baller. And yes, you'll have the ants of this world saying the Italian league is not the Premier League and what have you. He's had a season in England. He's settled down. This isn't a case of a player who's coming fresh from Serie A. This is a player who's had a season, who understands, who's had a feel for the league and everything else. And under Glasner, I think this one works. So I would 100% take him. 55 million, all right, I think it's expensive. But we won't get a sell-on value for this. This is a player for the here and now. Use him for 3-4 years, whatever the contract is they decide. And then whatever, he probably goes back to Holland or wherever he wants to go and we sell him for 20 million. I don't care if he gives us 4 cracking seasons. Who gives a damn what the sell-on value is? So I'm 100% in for this. And on top of that, he walks into our midfield right now. Tell me I'm wrong if you don't agree with that. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Make sure you've liked and subscribed. But would you take Reijnders for 55 million? We'll see you on the next video. Come on, you Reds.